So, welcome, viewers. We are here actually with obviously Simon
Aman,
and Aman, but Villa Sama through me. How long ago is it? Two,
uh,
2.5 or
two
so?
and a half years ago,
Yeah,
yeah.
fair enough. So maybe you can just give a brief introduction, like who you are, the villa that you purchased,
Sure.
and where it's located, of course, so people can find it also.
Yeah.
Um,
Sure. So, my name is Aman, and I live in Singapore, but I'm originally from India. So, my wife and I, we bought this villa. We named it Villa Sama. It's located in Nilayan. It's about 8 minutes walk from the beach, and
John and the Lion, Canggu.
Jalan Nilayan, Canggu.
Yeah.
The street is right opposite Body Factory.
Yeah,
So yeah,
facing it.
exactly. So you can find us on Google Maps as well. And yeah, so we are conveniently located in the heart of Canggu. Walking distance to all the best cafes, bars, restaurants, gyms, yoga studios, everything in town, and the beach.
Yes, this location is top notch. And where can they find it also on House of Reservations,
You can
right?
find our House of Reservations, Airbnb, Booking.com, Expedia, Traveloka. Yes, I
Your
think
local
that's
travel agent, anywhere.
anywhere.
Great. Now that you're like a little bit experienced here, what do you think is the main thing that's holding people back from investing in Bali?
Mhm. Okay, so I think the biggest thing that's holding people back is how do they find a trusted partner, developer, or company to invest through, right? Because mostly a lot of people don't end up investing in a country or city where they don't live. So most investors in Bali are first-time investors in Bali or first-time investors outside of their home location. So that's the biggest question. They don't know anybody in Bali.
Yeah.
They don't know any developers. They don't know any real estate companies. And
And
if
they
you
don't really trust them either to think it's a big issue
exactly,
anyways,
if you just
right?
go on the internet, you'll obviously read about all the negative things.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
what sells, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I think stops a lot of people from coming into Bali and blindly trusting. Nobody should anyway blindly trust,
No,
but
for sure not. But
I
yeah.
think that's the biggest thing that is stopping people from investing in Bali is just being able to trust or find the right partner here.
Yes. Okay. So I fully understand that. But what made you decide in the end? Because at a certain point, you just have to say, "Excuse my French, fuck it." There is like a certain amount of doubt, but I feel comfortable enough at least to make this
Yeah, yeah.
jump. So yeah, what exactly?
So I think for us, so we've been coming to Bali for I don't know maybe a decade now,
Yeah.
and this is some place that we always really enjoy. And every time we used to come here, we'd always talk and be like, wish we had a nice home here, things like that. And then finally, I think it was just after COVID when we came here and we were like, okay, this is the right time. We want to find a home here. But again, we had our doubts, right? How do we invest this amount of money without knowing anybody here? How do I trust a random person or a random company, anything like that, right? So um, that's how we started finding who the property brokers here are, who the realtors are, who the developers are. So we did our own research on the internet, trying to find some nice villas, and then backtracking of who made those villas and things like that. Finally, after finding some people, we met you as well. And I think before we agreed on getting this property or anything, we had a conversation, I remember. And I think like you mentioned, right, at some point you got to believe in your instinct, right? So after having the conversation with you, I was like, okay, cool, I think this guy can be trusted. I'm not saying I'm blindly trusting anybody. There are contracts in place, that everything is placed, right? So
No, because I think like a scammer will probably also be charming and nice, right? I think that's the main
absolutely,
thing. So you need
absolutely. So
to.
there's also this due diligence factor. There's this involvement of the notary. You got to get all the documents checked, everything.
Yeah.
That is one place where I think nobody should try and save their 100, 200, 1,000, $5,000.
100% with you, of course.
That is a
Do it
place where
properly. Do your proper due
absolutely,
diligence.
I would say pay that extra $1,000
100%.
and make sure that you're completely secure. The land you're leasing or buying
Yeah.
is completely free of any issues or any local, I don't know, whatever family issues might be happening of
Yeah, there
these
could be like
landlords, right?
conflicts or debts or whatever with the
Exactly,
land,
exactly.
the mortgage debt,
So
whatever.
make sure you check that out.
Yeah.
And then I think eventually it's, you know, coming into Bali, you'll obviously not know anybody. So you try and speak to whoever you're thinking of investing with. Try and speak to them as much as you can to to get an idea of whether your wavelength also matches, right? Your thoughts match. It's not just about, oh, I trust this guy. It's also about whether I can really communicate and associate with this guy, or share my thoughts absolutely transparently with this guy, and
Yeah.
he'll understand. Like with you, I felt like if I tell you my aesthetics, or okay, this is the look I want, or okay, these are the changes I want, then I was pretty confident that you are almost at the same wavelength as me. You'll understand my thoughts, right? So
Yeah.
that's also something that's very important. So yeah, I think transparent communication, talking to the person, and finally taking a call, right? You have to. So
Yes.
it's not like you'll come here and you'll find your long lost friend here.
No,
So
for sure. But I mean, just to dive in a little bit in your process, because so you found me through, you were working with Propertia, right? You told
correct.
them that you're looking for a villa.
Yes.
They connected us.
Yeah.
But how did that process go? Did you like talk with different brokers, or was it only Propertia, and how
So
many developers did you meet with prior to?
okay, so we spoke to there were two companies. One
Yeah.
was Propertia, then there was another one. We met with another developer. We actually found another property that we thought was quite nice.
Yeah.
It's close by, not too far. And we met the developer. But I just felt like, okay, I'm not saying anything bad about the guy, but I'm just saying that that's where the wavelength part comes in, right? I felt like, okay, so this guy is not going to be open to any changes. I mean, it's about, I could see that I can trust the guy. He had like a previous track record and stuff here.
Yeah.
Actually, that reminds me, I met another guy as well. Now that I think about it,
Okay, so there was two
there were
others.
two others through two different agencies. I met three agencies overall. One was Propertia, then there were two more.
Which one?
There was Bali Home Immo.
Yeah.
Then there was another one that I cannot remember. Not as famous or big as these guys.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The
Um,
well-established ones, at least two of them.
yeah,
Right?
yeah. I
Logical.
can't recall the third one. That villa was in Umalas, if I'm
Okay.
not wrong. But yeah, so I met them. These two developers. The first one I completely couldn't trust at all. Like I met the guy and I'm like, okay. We went to the site also. The villa was already being constructed, so it wasn't like barren land or anything.
Yeah.
But just having a conversation with the guy, trying to understand what he's trying to do, or what are the kind of villas he's thinking of making, what he wants to do with the houses and stuff like that. I just couldn't trust the guy. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
one of those instinctive thoughts you get, that okay, no, like a red flag, I don't
Yeah.
know. But the second one was, I felt he was a very legit developer. I'm pretty sure he's still around.
Yeah.
But I felt he was very like strong headed, in terms of, he was like, okay, this is what I'm making, take it or leave it. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna
Exactly.
move a brick from here or there if you want it.
Yeah.
So, and that's something that did not work for us. And then finally we met you.
Yeah.
And like I mentioned earlier, I think instincts, right? Like I felt like I could trust you. And then it was also, I still remember we had a conversation about how open are you to changes in your original design, right? Like,
Yeah.
because I understand you're making a couple of houses, they all look the same, there's economies of scale, it's easier to manage. Your contractors know I need to replicate the same thing for three different houses.
Yeah.
But it's about how open are you to accepting my ideas or suggestions about my villa, right? And you were open to it, so we thought, yeah. And then yeah, that's
Okay.
how it worked out. Yeah.
Nice. That's interesting also. So actually, yeah, to dive into that. So you, like, a big thing for you was modifications, right? Well, it, like, from the developer side, I also truly understand it, maybe now more than at that time, that um and maybe you can vouch for that from experience now, that things that seem easy here,
Yeah.
did you think, it's just a small modification, and dealing with it, it's not always as easy as it looks, right?
Absolutely.
So maybe you can also, like what was the main things from the design that we had that you thought, like, okay, I want to adjust that.
Okay, I think number one, the biggest thing, the biggest example I can share is the pool material, right?
Yeah.
So the pool material in the design originally was tiles, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
And we were certain on the fact that we wanted a terrazzo, white terrazzo pool. So and I mean, you agreed to it, thankfully.
Yeah.
So thanks for that. But when I mean, we did multiple visits here during the construction as well. So I clearly remember that it was not an easy task, right? To
It
get
started with tiles, right?
yeah, it started with
It
tiles.
started with tiles here, right? Yeah. We had to
Exactly.
clean
So
out.
we had to get the tiles out and then get the terrazzo in. But I mean, I still remember that at that time, even though we were so hell bent on the fact that we wanted terrazzo, you told us about the pros and cons of terrazzo, right?
Yeah.
So, and if you, at least from where I come from, there is no terrazzo around us in our everyday lives. So
Yeah.
we don't see terrazzos in our houses or even hotels in Singapore or anywhere, right?
Yeah.
It's I think to me it's a very Bali thing.
Yeah.
So I never knew about the actual, I know the pros, right, in terms of the aesthetics, but I never knew about the maintenance and things like that. So I think you prepped us well for it. Yeah, we do invest in maintaining the terrazzo.
Yeah.
That is very much needed. But yeah, I think that was the biggest modification.
It
Other
does
than
look amazing though, aesthetically.
absolutely, I mean, even when you're in the pool, right, it just hits different.
Yeah.
That it makes the pool very inviting. So even last night it was freezing, but I still went to the pool
Yeah.
because it was so inviting.
Okay.
So
So that's the main thing. It was the terrazzo in the pool.
yeah, I think that was the biggest one, right?
So then I have a specific question about like your villa is managed by House of Reservations,
Mhm.
also, right?
Yeah.
Can you elaborate a little bit, like how far so far? How is that like as working as partners with them? How is that going? Please be bluntly honest.
Yeah.
The pros and definitely also mention the cons,
Mhm.
of course, so you can prepare future
Yes.
customers.
Okay, so just taking a step back on how we found House of Reservations. So when
Yeah.
we were in the process of getting a house built here and everything, we started looking for management companies already. Because like I mentioned, we don't live here, we live in Singapore, and it's very important to find a reliable and trustworthy management company when you're investing in another country, right? It's very hard to manage day-to-day operations.
Yeah.
So, and just with a few Google searches, you'll realize that House of Reservations is the most famous name in Bali when it comes to luxury villas. And that's how we found them. And we had a couple of meetings with them before signing the contract. The experience of working with them has been, I'd say, fairly seamless. A couple of hiccups along the way.
Just one
But
question about it. So you said we had a few meetings with them prior to signing the contract.
yes.
But that was prior to signing the contract with the a villa management company, right? Or
Correct.
prior to signing the contract with me as
No. Prior to this was after the house was ready.
Yeah.
So prior to signing the contract with House of Reservations, we met with another management company as well, just to compare some
Do you
come
remember
some
the
numbers.
name? I'm just
Yes.
curious.
Bali Villa Management. Yes,
Okay.
I think that's BVM.
Yeah.
They go by BVM.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that was more just to compare the costs that we'll be incurring. But yeah, then we decided to go ahead with House of Reservations. The experience has been quite seamless. I think these guys know what they're doing very well. They manage houses all across the island, as you guys would already know, and they do a fairly good job. Um, if I have to name a few hiccups along the way, right, then I think sometimes when it comes to repair work, by the way, repair work is super important when you're investing in the short rental market. So
you
if
rent
you
for a high price, right?
exactly,
People expect a top-notch villa, and rightfully so.
yeah, and I think in general, owners always try and run away from maintenance.
Yeah.
From nobody wants to pay money from your pocket and just
Yeah.
get things done when you're not even there, right?
Yeah,
So if somebody sends you a picture, this wall is not looking nice. Okay, get it repainted. I need to pay these many dollars. Actually, let it be, right? That's the first thought that comes to your mind.
Or this paint, like the actually decent one cost $300 to
Exactly.
do it, or you want this one for 50, and then for a lot of people it's an easy choice.
Absolutely.
I personally really think is wrong.
Yeah.
But
You'll end up spending that 50 10 times
yeah,
than the 300 once.
and your daily
So
rate goes down, right?
absolutely. And one bad review will take you 10 steps back.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, so I think sometimes I feel like the repair work could be of slightly better quality, but that's, I mean, there are pros and cons to everything.
For sure. No, but also like I want to just to be honest about it. Like we are in Bali, Indonesia. It's not the first world. You cannot
Yeah.
come in with the same expectations of work as you would expect in Singapore.
For sure.
For India, I don't really know, but if I'm from the Netherlands, obviously I can compare it to there, and then it's still big frustration for me sometimes that you think we have
because I think that the reason is because most of the guys who are helping you out with your house, with your maintenance, everything, this is all unorganized labor. right? This is not organized labor.
No,
So
exactly.
you
Yeah.
you need to understand that these guys work on their own schedules.
Yeah.
So,
Unfortunately,
but
yes.
I think that's that's a part of the whole island life in Bali, right? So
Yeah,
once you come here, you stay here for a couple of weeks, you'll know exactly what I'm saying. And I think you
for
will be
sure.
okay with it. But if you come here blindly with a mindset that, okay, this is gonna, everything here will look exactly how it is in my, I don't know, first world country, right? That's
Yeah,
not
exactly.
how it is.
No, it is exactly.
So there is a very beautiful side to how it all works here as well.
Yeah,
But it can be frustrating.
for
Yeah, if you're
sure.
not ready for it, it can be very, very frustrating.
Yeah, completely.
Yeah.
Like most people want to be here because it's very chilled and relaxed.
Yeah.
But people need to understand that it's always very chilled and relaxed. And then also when you want to get shit
It's
actually
still
done,
chill and
it's
relaxed.
still
Yeah.
chilled and relaxed.
Absolutely.
So I
Absolutely.
think that's the main thing for people to get used to, right?
Yes.
The main thing. But um, like obviously most people are who will invest, and I'm sure it's the same case for you, right? They're busy because you have what do you do exactly in Singapore?
I have a job in Singapore. I work in fintech.
In fintech, yeah. Okay, so you don't I mean, people have a busy life. They have their
Yeah.
own families, their own stuff. You don't, if you did an investment, you don't want to be like dealing with stuff here that the door is blocking or somebody
Absolutely.
lost a key or whatever. That's the kind of stuff
Yeah.
you don't want, right?
Yeah.
So how is that going, like with the house of reservations?
I think that is the biggest advantage. It is going phenomenally well. It
Yeah.
is absolutely on autopilot.
Okay.
Like I don't have to look at anything that's happening here, like
Yeah.
nothing at all. I get detailed reports at the end of the month with all expenses, and then you've got your scans of all the invoices, everything.
And do you check that sometimes? Like, because also I've from many customers ask like, but how can I like trust them for sure? And I think it's a logical question, but
So, to be very honest, I don't check it on a
you never
month-to-month
did?
basis. No,
Oh,
I did.
okay,
I did.
okay.
Initially, I did because, of course, it's the first 1, 2 months you want to see what are these expenses.
I would check
Yeah,
periodically.
no.
Yeah.
So now I do check periodically when I see the number is slightly up or slightly down, right?
Okay.
Like, okay,
Yeah.
what is the difference in this month?
Yeah.
Um, but every time I've never actually found any sort of um any mistake or anything in the reports. They're very, very detailed and they're very accurate, including all scans or pictures of the invoice or everything that you have. Very transparent.
Yeah. So, like in the process of purchasing a villa, now that you experienced it, like what is the thing that surprised you the most in the process, or yeah, things that you wish you would have known at least prior
Okay.
to making
I think that's a good question, but I want to say that in general, when you look at brochures of these property companies selling villas in Bali, right? There are millions of them. Everyone says, okay, turnkey project, 10 months villa in your hand, 9 months villa in your hand, start earning 20% ROI from
Yeah.
year one, all of those things. You need to understand that the weather here is such that nobody can tell you exactly when your villa will be ready.
Yeah.
No one.
Yeah.
So, not even you, if you're building a villa here, I don't think you'll be able to give me an exact timeline, right?
No, I don't.
So,
Because there's too many factors. What I
exactly.
try to do is count to just like extra margin. I always say 15 months from when we start.
Yeah.
Because it's actually 12 months. Then we have 3 months for errors, and I
Yeah.
would like to over deliver if possible.
Yeah.
Then it's great if it's just quicker. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's something I wish I knew before. I don't know why it never really crossed my mind, but when it rains here, it pours, right? So
Yeah.
you can't construct when the rain is super heavy. So
Yeah.
if this year it decides to rain more than usual, your construction is getting delayed.
Yeah.
So there's no point blaming your developer or anybody. You just cannot work.
Yeah.
Or if it's a holiday season, then your entire workforce is going on leave.
Yeah,
You
but that's
cannot
things
work.
you can plan for, right?
You
So you
can
cannot
plan
be
for it.
surprised.
Absolutely.
It's Ramadan. Yeah, we know
But
that.
people should know about it, right?
Yeah,
Like,
of course.
because I still remember there was Ramadan when the construction was happening, and I was asking you, okay, can you send me any updates? You were like, okay, these guys are out for Ramadan and they'll be back at a certain date, right?
Yeah, only
I was
the
like,
Hindu
oh,
people are
no
working,
one's,
but
yeah,
nothing's
but
happening.
nothing is
basically.
happening. Why is
Yeah.
nothing happening? And I was panicking, right? Like, why are things not moving?
Yeah.
But had I known that before, or had those things been communicated to me before, I would have been more at peace.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, to give you credit, I think you did under promise and over deliver, right? Which is you
Yeah.
promised me a little extra timeline and you delivered before. That's, I think, the right way to go as well. Because you're kind of preparing for that extra rainy month or the weather basically here.
Yeah, for sure. I also think like at the time that you watched, it was through Propertia, right? So
Mm.
like, okay, they're broker. Ultimately, also understand they want to pay the bills and they want to make a sale, right? But maybe
Absolutely.
they sometimes promise things that I, as a developer, actually
Yeah.
say, no, guys, I don't want you to promise that because I can't
Yeah.
deliver or I
Yeah.
might not be able to. But I mean, yeah, I think that's just the way to go when you speak with the customers is to just tell them
Yeah. Yeah.
the honestly, like
I
from
remember
the
when
honest
we had our
question.
first conversation, you told me that that these guys are marketing something that is not the timeline I promised you. I will promise you another timeline because that's more realistic. And your timeline
Yeah,
was 2 months ahead of that one, because now I
two
totally
months ahead. Okay,
of
actually,
what was being advertised, because I totally understand if
yeah. So 2 months later, right?
exactly,
Yeah.
yeah, which
Okay.
I mean, I truly appreciate that because that was an honest communication from you, right?
Yeah.
So I yeah, I think that that is where transparent communication comes in
Yeah.
and is super critical.
Okay.
Yeah. And also another thing I'd want to point out about the same question is when you see these advertisements on Instagram or the internet in general, right? About okay, start making 20% ROI or 18% ROI from year one. Please do your own calculations.
Yeah.
Speak to somebody who has invested here or your developer and get a whole breakdown of how the numbers work. What are the kind of costs you need to expect?
Yeah.
Like I mentioned earlier, maintenance is very, very important.
Yeah.
If you don't pay regularly towards your maintenance, your ROI will never be anything in double digits.
Yeah.
So,
Exactly.
yeah, so the real ROI is always going to be slightly different than the brochure. I'm not saying it's going to be hugely different. It might be different, so plan for it accordingly.
No,
Um,
I think, I mean, it depends on the people who make the brochure, but everybody promises you the moon. So
exactly.
what's reality? And that I think it's great if people like you who experienced it can like tell a little bit from hands-on experience, like the process you went through and what people can actually expect. So it's all about expectations more managing. I feel like because if your ROI is double digits net ROI, if you're upwards from
Yeah.
10%, then it's a great investment,
No,
right? So why
absolutely.
promise
I
you crazy
completely agree with
things?
you.
Yeah.
So, and that's what I wanted to say that if you manage it properly, you have a proper management company, you are open to pay your expenses and things like that, you will make upwards of 10%. But again, location is also critical.
For sure.
So,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
what we
yeah.
were
That's
discussing earlier, if you go find a beautiful sea-facing villa, which is an hour away from where people want to be,
yeah.
good luck getting your ROI.
Yeah, or even
Right?
15 minutes at night. Because I can post Kadungu
Exactly.
15 minutes at night, but traffic is horrible and you're far out from where
Yeah,
you are, right?
and especially like you're not living in a resort where everything is right there. No,
Yeah,
if
there's
it's a
nothing.
villa, you have to get out to get your
Yeah,
things. So yeah, location is key to ROI. Location is absolutely key.
yeah. And I think
Um,
people should. I mean, it's difficult maybe coming from another country and then the brochure looks amazing because you think you're by the sea and you see
yes,
it on the map that you're so close.
yeah,
But I really think that people should like thoroughly listen to people that are actually there
mhm,
and then see how big the difference is. And also maybe just take time out of your day, check Airbnb and see what villas do in like these two different locations. And
absolutely.
yeah,
That's what we did as well. We actually ended up coming here, staying here in Bali for 2 weeks, going around trying to see okay, what are the kind of locations that we feel might work or
yeah,
are working or have more potential in the near future, or places that are overly occupied as well. So you don't also want to be in a place where it's excess demand, because that will affect your occupancy as well. So
yeah, exactly.
I would suggest to come in, have a look, feel the vibe, right? It's also everyone has a different idea of, maybe if I think, oh, I want to invest in Nilayan, maybe that's not your thing. You want to invest in, I don't know, if you're still thinking about Seminyak, I don't know. So maybe you have a different thing in mind, right? So it's always good to come down, have a look of where you want to be. But again, location is extremely, extremely important.
Yes. And do you think that there is, like, do you, if you speak to people in Singapore, in India, do you only recommend them like certain locations, or do you feel like more like, okay, in every location that Bali go to, there is like probably places that could be really good, but in Canggu, for example, in Uluwatu, there you really need to specify it where exactly, or do you just think overall, if you do it in Canggu, Uluwatu, Seminyak, or Ubud, you're like good?
I think these Canggu, Uluwatu are huge right? If you think about it,
Yeah.
if I just say Uluwatu, it's massive.
Yeah.
You
Uluwatu especially, right? Bukit is
exactly,
huge. Yeah.
it's huge. So no, when I talk to people and I suggest where to look for investment opportunities, I try and be more specific. Um, more specific than just Canggu or just Uluwatu.
Yeah.
I don't know much about Ubud, so I don't really
Me neither, to be honest.
wouldn't want to comment on
Yeah.
that. But yeah, in personally for me, I think in Canggu, the place to be is around Nilayan and as close to or inside Perenan as you can,
Yeah.
but and not any further. That's my understanding
Yeah.
because that's where I hang out when I'm in Bali, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So I wouldn't want to comment on places that I don't personally hang out in.
No, no, no. I
So
think that's a fair point also, right?
yeah, and when you talk about Uluwatu, personally, the places that I um, look at are obviously if you go close to Bingin, everyone will say, "Oh, Bingin, place to be," but okay, it's way too expensive right now.
Yeah.
Um,
That's all, I mean, you have to look at ROI, right?
exactly.
So Paranan is the same. Yes, Paranan
Yeah.
is amazing, but to go find a plot of land there now, it's first of all nearly impossible
Yeah. Yeah.
on the beach side. And you're really going to pay a premium. And in the end, you have to calculate, okay, is that premium, like there's a sweet spot, right?
Yeah.
Usually. So
But that's what's with Bingin and Perenan both. Actually, you made a very valid point. Is the land is so expensive, and most of it is already occupied, right?
Yeah.
Which means demand. Sorry, your supply is so high.
Yeah.
Now, if you add another villa onto it, how do you expect to get sky high nightly rates? You won't.
No,
You'll have to
exactly.
match what the market rate is,
Yeah.
and then your ROI won't sit in double digits.
No, so it doesn't make sense sometimes anymore, right? You just think, I can buy this villa for 300,000 or 350. But the land is so expensive, whatever, this doesn't make any sense anymore.
Exactly.
Or I need to, like, if I want to, they list two-bedroom villas, I've seen it now for 450 or
Yeah, yeah.
500. But okay, you can only charge so much, so then your ROI will be low.
Yes.
It's just common sense.
Yes,
I
but
think.
again, then also another thing is, then you come down here, you go to Perenan, you go to Canggu, wherever you want to here, right? You drive around, you spend a couple of days here, you'll understand, okay, maybe this is where I want to invest. It's not that far away from this, and this,
Yeah,
but the
exactly.
land price might make sense here.
Exactly. I'm just like
So
5 minutes out from that, so it's very strategic.
exactly,
Right?
but I don't have to pay that 3x premium there.
Exactly. And
Yeah,
this is why I'm big on Babakan. It's where I built my first
absolutely.
villa life.
Yeah,
Because I feel like the prices are a little bit more reasonable,
and it's right here.
high, and you're
Yeah.
right in the middle of everything. And that's what I want to ask you, because everybody from Europe, they always think you must have ocean view.
Yeah.
Does your villa have ocean view?
It does not have ocean view. Come to Bali, rent an ocean view villa. Let's see how that goes, right? You'll barely find any ocean view villas in Bali. And okay, you might find a few in
Uluwatu on a cliff, they have.
on Uluwatu on a cliff, but most of them are very hard to get to,
Yeah.
especially in Bingin, right? You have to
Yeah,
go down those
exactly.
stairs, and it's impossible. Very, very hard to get to. But yeah, most villas, at least in, I have never stayed in a ocean-facing villa in Bali, even though I want to, but
Yeah.
they're just very hard to get to, and they're very, very limited.
Exactly.
So
And do you think it's a necessity to
no,
make a decent ROI?
no, not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all. And I think most people now in Bali are, of course, they're spending their afternoons in the next to the ocean, but people now want to be near your trendiest cafes in town, your
Gym.
restaurants, your gyms, absolutely, right? Like your Pilates centers and things like that.
Yeah.
That's the vibe of Bali apart from the ocean.